Hi, everybody. Saudi Arabia, Iran over the weekend. Atom bombs, hydrogen bombs in North Korea today. Reminds me of a song from the 60s. Maybe you guys remember this. Don't you know we're on the eve of destruction? Roger McGuinn. All right, so Dixie has almost gotten back to the par level. Someone on Twitter said to me that everyone's looking to sell it at par. I said, and if it gets to par, it's going to blow through. I said, that's fine because I'm not going to predict the reaction of the NFP. I'm going to react to the reaction. But if you were long the dollar for this wave, I'd say you have the meat of the move right now, and I'd be booking it. We're starting to get some reversal action and divergences in the euro now. Didn't quite make a new low, held this low, so I still think we have to take it out. But it's setting up pretty nicely. Have the spike low in the pound. I talked about this. I had this line drawn yesterday, didn't quite get to this one. Poke through this one. Shade, a shade under 30 here, but this pin bar is way above it. So I'd say at least it's time to let go of the bullishness in the dollar for 48 hours. And possibly look for a fade in the dollar. Who's in the house? Hello, Adinda, JM, Ed Z, Shorty, Tosin, BW, Fabian, Doug. How's everyone doing today? Give me a Y if you could hear me and see my charts. Hi, Adinda. How are you? Horace, welcome. Fab, how you doing? Everyone doing okay? This is Dale. Anyone besides Adinda hear me and see me? How about a text? So I know I'm not talking to myself. S&P's down 35. I think we're going to 1940, 1930. Hello, Tosin. Looks like we are going to get that. Hi, Fab. Looks like we are going to get that break in the crude oil that I may trade down here. Still looking at 34 on the daily. We could be there in a hurry. We're at new lows diverging on the daily. So we'll see. Hello, Carlos. So I'm gearing up for the NFP now. I know there's a few days left. Canada is starting to come off a little bit. Too much momentum here so far. The high was made over 70. Leaving that alone. Aussie at support, but I still think there's some more left to the downside, maybe 69.5, another 100 pips. Down here in Aussie, I'll become interested. Still not. Although this is a nice candle, we are diverging. I wouldn't be short Aussie anymore. And the gold spiked to new highs, but we have a little two-drive pattern up here so far. I'd be careful about getting aggressively long gold after this run too. So I'm thinking the S&Ps, I have Norm Winsky here tomorrow. So I think we're pretty close to what might be a turning point bottom between 1900 and 1930 in the S&Ps. Those are my calls. The next one is yours. Don't you know we're on the eve of destruction? So pull that tune up. It's by Roger McGinn. I think it was in the 60s. It's called The Eve of Destruction. And play it in honor of the North Korea nuclear tests. President Bill Clinton gave them money so they wouldn't go nuclear. That didn't work. George Bush only name called them the axis of evil and chose the wrong intervention, the wrong spoke of the axis, intervening in Iraq instead of North Korea, because I guess it was easier. And of course, Barack Obama hasn't done much either. Hello, Malcolm. Happy New Year to you. So here we are. Not even the Chinese can control the North Koreans right now. And as Martin Armstrong said in our last interview, that his war cycles are heating up, and we certainly have a lot of evidence of that with the geo events over the last 4 or 5 days. So I guess that we should just enjoy each day, because we could look back at these times as the good old days. These will be the good old days. How's everyone doing today? That's the end of my tirade. What's everyone thinking? You know my thoughts. So I'd like to see the maybe 106.70 into the NFP. Maybe we rally to 775, but I'm not willing to call it a bottom yet. Although, in fact, we didn't even get to 61.8 yet. That's 107.09. 76 is 106.24. Snaga, Sir Vedran, how are you? I have a great interview with an Elliottian, Mike Golembesky. He's with ElliottWaveTrader.net, specializes in FX, SPX, and VIX. Used to be a SOS trader in the late 90s. Should be a great interview. We'll get Mike's views on what's happening in the dollar going into the NFP. Get some Elliott Wave counts from him. So stick around for Mike Golembesky from ElliottWaveTrader.net. Should be a great interview. Hello, Doug. How are you today? Fabian. Hi, Izzy. Did you learn a lesson yesterday? Not to trade 2 drives? Wait for the third. So here's the Aussie yen. We thought this might be the second drive here. What's interesting is we're still diverging all the way down here. So this line meant nothing unless I extend it out. And sometimes you get throwovers. So don't try and trade 2 drives. Wait for the third. Hi, Zig. How are you, brother? So that's something that we talked about during the course. it told you not to be short anymore right here, which was enough of a give up to cover your shorts here, but it doesn't say to go long. EG looks like it's flagging here. To me, it still doesn't look done. To me, this is looking like a flag. Classic confirm low. What kind of low is this in EG? So Izzy, you were right about this, and we're underneath the off number. So we have another low coming in EG, it looks like to me. This is a classic flag pattern here, right? Something like this. And we'll get another breakdown under 320. Not saying the flag can't go to 355, 360, but it implies another break. And those are my thoughts coming into today. Happy New Year, Armand. How are you, buddy? Everyone, Armand's back in the house. Armand, to you and your family, I hope this is your best year ever in all ways. That's my New Year's hope for everyone in our community, and I extend it to you. Everyone doing okay? Hey, Armand, what do you think the biggest move or the biggest surprise in FX will be in 2016? Okay, veteran's got a guppy look here. Looking for a bounce. Okay, buddy. Nice formation. You have a falling wedge. So if this is the wedge line you're going to use, if you anchor it here, this should be your target. If you anchor the wedge line here, then this will be your target. Right now, it looks like you have the wedge anchored here. So 74.20 looks likely. Everyone thank Veteran for his long guppy shot here. Thank you, Ved. Okay. Nice look, buddy. Any other shares in here this morning? JM, how are you? I see a couple of new handles in here. Let's welcome them. Everyone welcome B to our community. And Damith, welcome Damith. Make them feel at home. You guys could see that. Okay. Interesting. Hi, Tico, Shorty, Horace, BW. 31.20. Hiya, Doug. Malcolm, welcome back. Happy New Year to you. You have a chart, Happy? Down here, huh? Okay. Thank you, Happy. What is that, an extension? 1.618, 1.23? That would really be a washout. Happy New Year, Goldie. Welcome back. 1.38. Thank you, Happy. Welcome back, Goldie. Hope you had a great holiday. Hope you were able to forget about this. Use less leverage when you trade the markets. Use wider stops so you don't get picked off. If you don't use less leverage, you might lose your head and your account will be dead. Use less leverage. Use less leverage. Good to see your handle in here, buddy. I knew you missed. I know you've missed hearing that live for the last few weeks. Knew you'd be back. You know what? You guys think that being in Laura is like being in the mafia? You could check out, but you can never leave. Being in Laura is like being in the mafia or Hotel California. You could check out, but you can never leave. So this line is at 31. See, you already showed at 34.5. My chart's a buck. My chart's a buck higher than yours. I'm at 5.45. See that difference? Anyway, here's Happy's look. Looks like a falling wedge to me. So we have different prices. You're showing 4.55 and I'm showing 5.35. So if you're looking for 31, I should be looking for 32. Everyone thank Happy for his look on the crude oil. I believe it's a daily. It is. Thank you, Happy. But you see, my platform's like a buck higher than yours. Rusty's here. My good Rusty boy is here to say hello to me. Hello, Rusty. Hello, buddy. What a good boy. What a good boy he is. Okay. Good boy. Yeah, mine's WTI. It says WTI. Good boy, Rusty. You guys want to see Rusty? See if I can show him. Good boy, Rusty. Come here. Rusty. He just left. Rusty left. I'm going to show you Rusty. Now I'm stuck here. Uh-oh. I'm going to let you come over. Everyone doing okay? Well, I tried to show you Rusty boy. They say I have a perfect face for radio, damn it. Sorry about showing my face. There's my charts. Gold still pushing. Inside day in the euro, inside day. Looking for a possible, Rusty is the man. So we have an inside day in euro. Maybe we get an outside day tomorrow. Still think we have to take out this double bottom. We'll see. So now you'll get a lot of stops building under 712. Still think we could take it out on a decent NFP number. Is that better, Damus? Everyone doing okay? Goldie, what are you thinking in here? Tico, any setups? Doug, how are you? Tosin, what are you up to? So we have a great interview with Mike Golembesky from ElliottWaveTrader.net. He's with Avi Gilbert. Avi's a very famous Elliotician. We'll get Mike's view. His specialty is FX. We'll get his views on Euro going into the NFP. S&P Dow's coming back. It's only down 270. Everyone doing all right? Starting to diverge in the end here on the 4 hour. Sell all rallies to 120. Yeah, he has the brains and the brawn. Everyone doing okay? So I think the inflection point is Friday. We'll have Norm Linsky tomorrow. Norm will have some turning point days for us tomorrow. Everyone doing okay? Everyone doing all right? Is this Euro 106.40? Okay. So that lines up with what I see. Nice, Goldie. And that on my chart is about 76 back, 106.40. Everyone congratulate Goldie on that great Euro short. 106.57 is 70% back. 106.24, 76% back. Congratulations, Goldie. Nice work. Everyone congratulate Goldie on this trade. Great to have you back. You're the man today. Nice work, Goldie. I nominate Goldie for the Man Award today. Hi, Abel. Here you go, buddy. You're the man. Congratulations. Nostradamus glasses from Ziggy. Congratulations, Goldie. So maybe we could do an interview with you and you could show us a new technique that's working for you. You have your glasses on, Zig? Everyone should get a pair. Everyone needs to have a pair of these for 2016. Contact Ziggy to get your Nostradamus glasses. Ziggy's wearing his right now. I have mine on. I can see into the future. With my glasses on, I see the euro going to 106.40 and then up to 112. Uh-oh, they're falling off. Hold on. The euro's going to 106.40 and then up to 112. And then down to 97. So we're going 106.40, 112, 112.50, and then 97. And that's as far as my glasses can see. Here's the chart with my glasses on. Here we go. The euro will go down to here and up to 112 and then down to 97. Those are my Nostradamus glasses. Yeah, Veteran wants a pair. You want a pair, Ved? Veteran wants them. Armand has them. Armand already has a pair. He had LASIK stuff. I see a new handle in here. Everyone welcome Claudio. Claudio, welcome. Everyone welcome Claudio to our community, make them feel at home. So not a lot of ideas being shared here today. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break now. You guys feel free to keep sharing ideas. Stock market's bouncing back a little bit here. I'll be right back, everyone. Stand by, Dinda. I'm going to be taking a break now for about 5 minutes. You can hear me. Thank you very much. I'll be back in a bit, everyone. Alien did an interview yesterday. I'm back. Thank you, Adinda. What do you got, Ved? I'll be back. Huh. He had like 143. 143 and a half, Happy. Yeah, he showed it. He showed that 143 eventually. You're welcome. Everyone doing all right? Market's trying to fight its way back. Pretty dead here. Yen should have trouble at 120 on any rally. Looks like we're grinding something out like this. See this pattern? Gave us a nice short up to the high. Could be repeating this pattern in the end. You don't have to agree with me. But I'm just showing you this. And I'm showing you this. And there's some similarities. I think it'll be a weaker bounce. But maybe we get back to 120 yen. You don't have to agree with me. Just give me a Y if you see it. This was a 3-drive pattern that led to a nice advance. And so far we have a 2-drive pattern. For it to be a 3, I'd expect a bounce and then a retest here. So give me a Y if you see it. You don't have to agree with it, just that you recognize it. Okay, good. Well, in my opinion, Damon, I think you should wait for everything until after the NFP now. I don't want to put a position on and know that I have, I don't know, 36 hours, 48 hours for it to manifest. I'd rather be on the sidelines now. We called this dollar advance, euro break, pound decline, yen decline. So I think we got the meat of the move. You're never going to catch the whole thing. Dollar index approaching important resistance. So I would just stand aside until after the NFP. But that's me. We're all captains of our own ship in here. And be careful going into chat rooms looking for advice. You should have your own plan. Don't you think? You should know right now what you want to do in the end. Instead of asking a stranger like me whether or not you should wait. Not that I won't give my opinion, but I hope you have yours. Your opinion's the most important. Capiche? Stick around for another 30 minutes, and I'll ask Mike Golembesky for his view on U.S. dollar yen as well. Use less lever. But I would say that we're way overdue for something in the yen, wouldn't you? Although we took out this 18.5 support, we're right here. Although eventually I think we're going down here and even break this. But any rally back to 120, I'm a seller. But in my view, this is the right shoulder of a weekly head and shoulders top. Okay. I think eventually we take out this neckline. We have at least equality. This was 900. 900 from 123 is 114. But I think it'll be a fib extension to take it down to 110 is where I think the yen is going. 109. Yes, I believe the minutes are released later. The Fed minutes. I think they'll be addressing the nuclear explosion in North Korea. That we're gonna have to hold off raising rates until things calm down in Saudi Arabia, Iran, and North Korea, let alone Syria, Ukraine, the South China Sea. The Fed's going to have to wait for geo events to calm down to move. And they're not going to calm down. Here's what they're going to say. Ved, this is what Janet Yellen is saying now. You ready? Well, I raised rates because we thought it was time because we were talking about doing it for a long time. So we went ahead and did it, but just pretend we didn't do it because we may not have to do it again. If the markets keep going down, we'll just wait and see what the data looks like down the road. And if the data is weak, we don't have to tighten anymore. In fact, if the markets get too weak, I have associates who say that we should go back into a QE mode, although I disagree right now. So I'm data dependent, and it's better to be data dependent than codependent. So we're data dependent on the data. Stand by. We will do everything to keep the market up. So you could buy stocks and not worry about nothing
because we think the wealth effect will spill down into the people that can't buy a dozen eggs right now because eggs are so expensive.
Those are my Fed minutes. You heard the Fed minutes. Pound looks good. Euro yen could bounce, but look at this momentum. You took a sell on Euro, USD. I like that. Much more muchier. But what is 1.721? No, that's the euro again. That was the euro again, Goldie. Claudio, I'm not sure what you're saying. You're looking for 172 in the euro? Then why would you sell it here? Oh, okay. 107.20 is the target price. So we almost got there. So you day trade. You're a day trader. Okay. I like it, Goldie. Yeah. 72 and a half and then 71 and a half. I like it. At least to here. Thank you, Goldie. Everyone thank Goldie for his euro pound look, which basically confirms what I was saying, that this is a flag and we're heading lower at least to 72 and a half. I wouldn't want to see it close over 73.60. Great to have you back. Thank you, Goldie. And thank you for your much here. Who wants to get a new car? Anyone want a new car before rates go up or go down? Give me a Y if you want a new car. That's not what I do in here. I'm trading all the time. We're a live analysis room. I'm waiting for the NFP. So I de-emphasize my trading here. This is not like your standard chat room where you have one guy who thinks he's a trading messiah and people stand up and sit down every time he does. Do you understand that? But I do provide live analysis, and it's up to everyone. Like I said earlier, Claudia, we're all captains of our own ship. I'm the daddy. Just call me Coach Dale, Coach Pinker. But I guarantee you I have positions. CAD coming off. Starting to get a little bounce in the crude right here. Stand by for Mike Golembesky. Gold still pushing. Yeah. Well, I think eventually 116 is a bigger level. But you're right, 118 is big. Oh, EGA. Oh, okay, okay. If you need a new car, you should trade with us in LAR. Say you rent and want to buy a house, hang out with us before you click your mouse. And if you want to be a star, you got to show your charts in LAR. Give me an L, A, R, LAR, R, 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 EGA, EGA. That's what you were talking about. Yeah, man. My platform's slow. Everyone doing okay? We have a great interview coming up in the next 10, 15 minutes. Mediocre? Not enough muchiness, Goldie? Much more. Thank you, Abel. Much more muchiness needed. Everyone doing okay? Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. That's all I know. So, Euro's looking like an ABC with another decline to come. See this, Izzy? We went to the weekly off number. If you're still here, Izzy. What's the high of the day, Izzy? In Euro pound. See how those 2-week off numbers come into play? Right there, isn't it? Thank you, Doug. Went right to the off number, right, buddy? Thank you, Doug. How much time between these cycles? How much time between these cycles, Doug? Everyone thank Doug for his yen look. Looks like he has some cycles in there. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, buddy. So see the off numbers, Izzy, and Euro pound? Went right to it, didn't it? So if you sold the off number, which is a close from 2 weeks ago, it was a pretty good number, wasn't it? So what I'm talking about is you go to your weekly chart and you count back 2 weeks for the close, and that's your off number. Thank you for your look, Doug. Okay, Goldie. Mike will be with us pretty soon here. Stand by for our interview with Mike Golembesky from ElliottWaveTrader.net. Should be with us shortly. Looking forward to interviewing Mike. Everyone doing okay? If you love LAR, give me a Y. If LAR has helped you, give me a Y. LAR has helped me. Here's my Y. Thank you, Izzy. Thank you, Ved. Thank you, Ved. Glad to serve. It's our mission here in LAR to build up and edify traders every day through the sharing of our work and the bringing in experts from around the globe to share their views and methods. We've been at it for 2.5 years now. I think we've helped quite a few people in the process. Everyone doing all right? Okay. Hi, Mike. How are you? Can you hear me? Hi, Mike. Can you hear me? Just waiting to see if you can hear me, Mike. Some audio issues. I'm not hearing you. No audio, buddy. Okay. Stand by for Mike. Hello, Mike. How are you? Can you hear me? Hi, Mike. Nice to meet you. Still can't hear you, buddy. There we go. Hi,
Can you hear me
Mike.
now, Dale?
Yeah,
Hi,
great.
Dale.
You sound good,
Okay.
loud and clear, Mike. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so I noticed that we might be neighbors and that we're going to need Noah's Ark here on the West Coast this year. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been wet the last few days for sure.
Yeah, so El Nino showing its power, and North Korea showing its power,
Yeah.
and Saudi Arabia and Iran trying to project their power. So it's great to have a wave guy like you with us here today, Mike. You know, I read a little bit about your bio. Used to be a Souls trader in the 90s where you used to be able to see the bid and offer of different firms where their blocks of buys and sells were, and then you made the conversion of having to be right and predict and forecast the market and trade it that way. Am I
Yep.
reading your history correct?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey, and you got into SOs and you were trading equities. What was your journey? Now that I see from your bio, you specialize in FX, SPX, and VIX. Tell us about your foray into the FX arena and what you discovered and um, some of the lessons you learned, and if you had mentors or influencers along the way to help you or were self-taught.
Yeah, like you said, I started trading in the late '90s with the Nasdaq small order execution system, and in the mid 2000s, I kind of made the switch to the Forex market, and I had my ups and downs with the Forex market, and uh, you know, took a lot of lessons the hard way in the Forex market. And it was around that time when I was first introduced to Elliott Wave, and Elliott Wave analysis really kind of spoke to me because it gave me a method to really manage my risk. And that's really the key to trading, is managing your risk above all else. And what I really liked about Elliott Wave analysis is it really gives you a really good way to define your risk. Not every trade is going to be a winner, but if you can keep your losses small, you can be successful in trading. And Elliott Wave analysis really is a good tool for helping manage risk and define your risk.
Okay, so one thing I've noticed with Elliotticians is they always have an alternate count.
Right.
Sometimes more than one, right? So how do you screen it out, Mike, as to what your preferred count is and your alternate counts?
Yeah, we typically want to have an alternate count, and there's multiple reasons for having an alternate count. And the first reason is we want to have a backup plan. We want to know what could go wrong. So if we have a count and we're looking one way in the market and the market moves against us, or it does something that we're not expecting, we don't want to be caught flat-footed. So we want to always know what our outs are. And so using Elliott Wave analysis, we have preferred counts based on what the most probable outcome is going to be. And that's based on what the most likely count is. And so what I like to do when I'm doing my analysis is I like to get all of the counts that are possible on the chart. And from all those possible counts, there may be 2, there may be 3, there may be 4. And from all those multiple counts, I like to take a look at okay, which count is the least probable based on various things that we know in Elliott wave analysis. And then that way I can kind of narrow down, okay, if which is my most preferred count. And one of the tools that we use at ElliottWaveTrader.net is Fibonacci Pinball, which was developed by the founder of our site, Avi Gilbert.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. A picture speaks 1,000 words, Mike. Perhaps you could do a screen share
Sure.
with us now. You just go up to that green box with the arrow.
Sure.
And, I do use Fibonacci, and I grew up playing pinball machines, so I'm interested in the combination of what Fibonacci pinball would be.
Sure. Let me share my motive wave with us here.
In fact, we used to know the match sequence and when to drop the ball to win a free game. And if the bowling alley was empty, we'd put the pinball machine up on a couple of ashtrays and stick it. And that's how I knew I would be a good commodity trader. I was always looking for the edge, even in pinball playing. All right, so we're looking at the Dixie. Great time to be talking about the Dixie going into the NFP. And this is your preferred count?
This is my preferred count. My preferred count on the Dixie is the white count. And so what we can see on the count is that we have what looks to be an incomplete pattern here. And so what I'm looking for is one more minor high just above the June highs here of 2015. And so what I was mentioning was Fibonacci Pinball. So what Fibonacci Pinball does is it gives us a good framework to kind of frame the counts. And the way that we use Fibonacci Pinballs, we take our extension tool, our Fibonacci extension tool, and first we need to determine where our first wave is, our wave 1. And in this case, our wave 1 ended here in spring of 2012. And then our wave 2 ended here, and then we can extend it up. And what we have is we have different levels that we're looking for in our various waves. So our third waves usually are going to be somewhere between the 1618 and the 200 extension. And so we can see right now that we're closing on the 200 extension for our third wave, which is right here. Okay, and what we can see is we still have an incomplete pattern within our third wave. So our wave, our wave 5 of 3 should be 5 waves, and right now it's still only 3 waves. So this tells us that we should be seeing another high over the spring highs in 2015. So that's what I'm looking for.
Your view is if this count is fulfilled, that we'll see a sub-parity euro at 102.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And under this count, the euro then would need to make another low.
Let's stay here. And your alternate count is that we fail to make new highs and take out that double top and correct back to the downside before we complete this.
The alternate count. Yeah, the alternate count is that this high is a B wave high, which would come in the form of 3 waves, and then we see another C wave, which would be part of a larger degree 4th wave. I'm not a huge fan of this count, but it's there. But I have various reasons why I do not like this count. And one of the reasons.
I'm curious why. Go ahead.
One of the reasons is some of the things I'm seeing on some of the other charts. As you know, the Dixie is very heavily weighted in the euro, and really the euro is dragging down the dollar in general. If we look at some of the other U.S. dollar charts, if we look at some of the Fed weighted charts, the U.S. dollar is already broken out over the spring of 2015 high, and the Dixie is still lagging behind. So I have a hard time reconciling the two counts between the Dixie and some of the other U.S. dollar charts.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons
that's
why
valid.
my preferred
Valid and
count
interesting.
is. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why my preferred count is to see another high, even though this pattern here, this wave structure, is really not ideal. This is not an ideal wave structure here that we have off of the August lows. It's really not an ideal wave structure, but I've kept this preferred count, looking for another high, mainly for that reason. Just because some of the other, the dollar is strong other than the euro. So the euro is really dragging down the Dixie.
What's your trigger for your alternate count to be in action? Taking out that wave 4 low that you have there at about 97?
If we take out this wave 4 low at 97, that'll be the first signal that we're moving in the alternate count. And so, this is the first alternate count, which is an alt B. The other count is that we may have what's called a truncated top. We could actually call this here top of wave 3. So that's another alternate count that I'm looking at. But really, I would really prefer to see this, just get another push over the, the 101 high, and we're close. We're only about about 1 basis point off of that level, so we're close.
So maybe a good NFP could be the catalyst.
Yeah, that could be the catalyst for sure to get us that final push. And looking at the euro, the euro has in a similar position. It's getting close as well. And if we look at the where we're at in the euro, it's it's already under broken the 618 retrace. So we have an alternate count shown here in blue, which could have us pushing higher, but we've already broken some support in the euro, so it very well could be on its way down to its final low to get us.
It's interesting. I see all the other fibs that you have up there, Mike. I'm kind of a fan of 78.6, and you have 76.4 and 88%. What I like about those is they shake out the 61.8 retrace players.
Right.
Have you noticed anything like that? Do you have a favorite fib? A lot of people like 61.8, 50%.
Yeah,
I've talked to a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah, the 618 is the most common for for a wave 2 retrace. If we see a break below that level, it usually tells us that we're not in a wave 2. Possibly a B wave, but usually not a wave 2. The wave 2, usually we want to see that stay between the 3.2 and the 61.8. If we break below the 61.8,
that's a pearl. So that we know, and I'll trade those 78.6s and even 88s. But what I learned from you just now, that is, even if we get a rally from there, it is now for sure corrective.
It's more likely corrective, right? So if we get a rally off of the 76.4 or the 88.6 especially, it's more likely a corrective structure versus going to be a third wave. It's very rare to see a wave 2 retrace under the 76.4. Again, the standard retrace zone for wave 2s are the 38.2 and the 61.8.
Okay. So I have a question to pose to you. I've interviewed, Elliott's a very popular discipline, and there are many Elliottians out there. They all have their own twists to it. But someone I once interviewed said that almost everything in the FX arena in currency markets are corrective. Rarely do you find impulsive moves. That the FX markets are always correcting because it's a battle between the central banks, whereas in equities, it's more common to see impulsive waves. What's your view on that?
Well, we see impulsive waves in the FX markets all the time. It's just a matter of degrees. So we may have, the larger degrees, the waves may be corrective, but even within those corrective waves, we still have impulsive wave structures. So,
Okay.
for example, on the Dixie chart, this
That was impulsive. Yeah.
Very impulsive. This move off the 2014 lows is a very impulsive wave 3. When it's all the way up to the 200 extension was a very impulsive move. So, We have a 1, 2, 3. And so at this point now, if this wave breaks down back below the end of wave 1, then this wave 3 turns into a C wave. But as of right now, it's still a very impulsive wave structure. So the FX markets, the third waves typically in the FX markets are extended. So we see those, in equity markets, the third waves usually kind of end around the 1618 extension, where in the FX markets we see the third waves typically extend to the 200 extension or even further to the 238 or the 261.8 extensions. So
wow. So they're even more dramatic, the extensions in FX.
In the third waves, yeah, and the fifth waves are typically around the same length as the wave ones. But the third waves in the FX markets, what we've noticed is those are typically can be very extended waves, which is what we've seen here in the Dixie, as well as right now we have a very extended third wave in the USD CAD as well.
I wanted to. You must be a mind reader, because whenever I'm ready to switch gears, you bring it up. I was going to ask you about the commodity currencies, with a lot of people talking 20 handles in crude now or lower, and now the Saudis will have the pedal to the metal, and I actually see like a falling wedge in crude. And also with the dollar making new highs for a while, the yen did not. I know that's switching topics. And also the Aussie and Kiwi haven't made new lows for several weeks. So do you have any, what are your views on the commodity currencies? And then perhaps we could go to US dollar yen, which looks pretty negative right now.
Yeah, let's start with the dollar CAD. So as we can see, the dollar CAD's been in an extremely bullish trend for the last several years, and the move off of this low here, which was the October 15th low, is a very extended fifth wave. So right now we're coming into this blue box was a box that I had put on the chart several months ago, and so as we can see, we're coming into into my extended targets for USD CAD. And so what we can see is, this is another good example of our Fibonacci pinball. And so what we can see here is that, let me stretch that a little bit. So what we can see is on our Fibonacci pinball, so we have, in the CAD, we've got, I'm counting this as an A, B, and then C, with an alternate being that this next high is going to just be the top of a third wave. But my primary count at this point is that this is an AB. Within this AB, the C wave is 5 waves. So the C wave, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then us being in our final fifth wave here now. And within our fifth wave also breaks down into 5 waves. And so that fifth wave starts here in the at the May of 2015 low, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. And so what we can see with our Fibonacci pinballs, if we use our Fibonacci extension tool and we start it with wave 1 and we drop it down to our wave 2, we can see that our wave 3 hit the 200 extension almost to the penny. Okay, and so that's a very good indication that our count is playing out. And that what we can see is our wave 4 came down to the 100 extension, again very close to the 100 extension, which is also one of our Fibonacci pinball levels, and that's why I have these levels in yellow on my Fibonacci extension tool, because these are key levels for me to be watching. So I watched the 200 extension, so we bounced off we hit the 200 extension resistance, we came back down, we bounced off the 100 extension, and now we're trading back up, and we've got another 5 wave sequence for our wave 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're approaching the 300 extension, which is, a longer-term target that I had for the USD CAD.
Where's that come in?
Comes in at 1.4177.
Okay.
And so zooming in, we can see that same wave structure. We can see this wave breaks down into 5 waves. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So it does look like we need a few more squiggles to complete this wave structure. on the smaller time frames, we've maybe got a 1, 2, 3, so maybe another 4 and a 5, and we have enough waves to call this, larger degree move complete. Now, of course, it doesn't rule out further extensions.
If it is complete and you're labeling this a big ABC, does that imply a major correction rather than if it's a 3 and then we get a 4 and another blast?
Yeah, if it's an ABC, then that could be a significant top in the pair. And really, what we'll be looking for next is we'll be looking for how we retrace off of the high. So if we come down correctively, then that's going to be an indication that this high was only the top of a third wave versus versus a major top. And that'll be kind of the keys that we'll be looking for initially is how we move down off of the highs. Correctly.
So I'm just going to ask you a Nostra Golembesky question. So if this is the completion of an ABC, possibly we're looking at between 34, 32, an important inflection point in crude, and if this is it and there's going to be a big break in USD CAD, there could be a pretty dramatic rally in the crude oil market that no one can even talk about upside anymore.
Yeah, and we have energy analysts at ElliottWaveTrader as well, and we are looking for we're closing in on the bottom at crude as well. So we're approaching some major support in the crude market. If we can hold that support, we're looking for for a bottom not too far away in the crude markets as well. So it coincides with what we're seeing in CAD.
Okay, and if this is an ABC and this was all corrective, then we're going to take out the 2014 low eventually?
Potentially, yeah. Or we could just see, a large large sideways consolidation where we may, come all the way back down towards the 2014 low and then move back up, correctively in a very large, sideways consolidation. So it's really a bit early to tell right now until we see how we retrace off of the highs once we top.
Great look. Anything on what's happening in U.S. dollar yen here, Mike? 118 was a pretty important support level. To me, it looks like eventually there's destiny to even take out 116.
Yeah.
What are you thinking here?
Dollar yen is really one of the messiest charts I've got right now, and it's we've got a very messy corrective action off of the June 2015 highs, and I'm really on the sidelines on this pair. I don't have a high confidence count that I can really say I have a ton of confidence in, but right now, I do see 118 as a fairly key support level as well.
You know what, Mike? That shows maturity, because remember in the early days, even if you didn't know, you would pretend you did.
Right.
And it shows that even on Twitter, and I was going to ask you for your Twitter handle. Right now I'm using @AdviceTrade to promote you, but that it's better that people on Twitter and everywhere else, they choke on the words "I don't know" and "I was wrong."
Right.
So I don't know is better than I'm going to pretend to know.
Right, and again, that's part of trading, is you need to get used to being wrong, because you're going to be wrong a fair amount of time, and it's about managing your risk, So you have to get used to taking losses and being wrong. You're not always going to be right trading. So, and you also have to know when not to take a trade. And right now, I don't have a high confidence setup in the dollar yen. It's really a messy wave structure right now, so it's one of the
kind of messy, kind of messy like the S&Ps are. I know that you specialize in the VIX. That's also an instrument that you follow. And my observation, and I'm long VIXy, is that the reaction in the last week during this decline in the S&Ps has been pretty anemic in the VIX. We're at lower levels than we were before the last rally back up towards 2080. Is that a market tell to you when the VIX is lagging what it should be doing, and that this could set up? I know it's Avi's arena, the S&Ps, but if you could comment on that and the VIX, it'd be a great way to wrap this up.
Yeah, right now we're at a pretty key point in both the S&P and the VIX. My preferred count is that I have us close to a bottom in the S&P, but if we don't get, we're potentially also at a point where we could see a fairly large decline that could take us back under the August lows. So it really depends on how we move off the next bottom. If we move off the next bottom correctively, then it's a sign that we're going to see lows back under the August lows, and the VIX will start to see some pretty explosive moves to the upside.
I wanted to ask you, someone said that rally that we had in the VIX in August, when we had that flash crash was impulsive. Does that come into your view that if that was impulsive, then since the August low, the VIX has been corrected?
I'm counting the move off the August lows as corrective, as a large ABC in the VIX, and the VIX really almost always trades in ABCs. It's
interesting. That was the end of it.
Yeah, that was the end of that move, and then the move off of the next lows was corrective. The VIX is almost always in ABCs, and so what you're looking for is the impulsive wave structures within the C waves, or within the C waves of the A waves. But you're almost always getting large ABCs in the VIX. That's just kind of how it trades. But yeah, I'm personally slightly leaning towards us, coming into a bottom in the S&P. But again, it just kind of depends on how we move up off the next local low. If that low is corrective, then I'll be looking lower. But if we can get an impulsive wave structure off of the next lows, then we could be, looking for a fairly significant bottom in the S&P, which is how I'm leaning.
Do you have any view in using fibs or anything else for measuring time?
As far as the timing goes, Elliott Wave is not really a timing tool. There are some timing methods within the Elliott Wave structure. For example, the wave, our second waves usually are close to the amount of time as our first waves, and our fourth waves usually take a similar amount of time as our second waves. So there are some timing tools, timing sequences within the waves, but Elliott Wave is more about price levels and structure versus timing. It's not really designed for timing.
Okay, I know that some people, I know it's not Elliott, but some people use fib time sequences and we all know that Gann time was more important to him than price. But I was just curious if you did it. So I really want to thank you, Mike. It was a pleasure meeting you, and you gave us some great views and looks. So for people that would be interested in following you and your work and what you do with Avi, is the best place to go to your website, ElliottWaveTrader.net.
Yep, ElliottWaveTrader.net, and we offer a free 15-day trial, and we don't require credit cards, so you can come on in and check out the site and see what it's all about. And we have 10 analysts on the site, and 2 of us are Forex analysts, and we have energy analysts and stock analysts, and so we cover the gamut of all the markets. So can
I recommend one more type of analyst?
Sure.
Psychoanalyst.
We have a cycle analyst, actually. We have someone who's doing that. We just hired him last year. So.
Well, we're all on the couch sometimes, aren't we, partners? So
yeah, we have cycle analysts, internal analysts.
Do you have an individual Twitter handle, or does the company have a Twitter handle?
Yeah, at Mike Golembesky. At Mike Golembesky is my Twitter handle, my personal Twitter handle.
Okay. All right, well, Mike, thank you so much for being here. My trading warrior brother, I wish you a great 2016, and perhaps we could get back together and see how these counts played out in the coming months.
Absolutely, and it was great to be here. Right, thanks, Dale.
Okay. Good hunting, buddy.
Thanks.
Everyone thank Mike. That's Mike Golembesky, at ElliottWaveTrader.net, Twitter handle at Mike Golembesky. That's Golembesky. Thank you very much, Mike, for edifying our community today.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
So we have the dollar weakening here, guys, in front of the NFP. It's mainly looks to be the euro pound is doing it because the pound is weak. Pound is weak while the euro's holding up. Everyone enjoy that interview? Did you guys like that? So interesting number we have to watch in Canada now. 41.77 in Canada. So we'll see. Mike's kind of in my camp that we're getting close to a low in the crude oil market. 41.77 is another 100 pips higher in Canada. We'll be paying attention to that, see if we get any kind of action, any response off that level. And we'll see if the dollar is going to blow off to 102.50. I'm not sure I'm in that camp, but anything's possible. Here's a look from Armand. Armand's been bullish Canada for I don't know how long, but he was talking about these numbers. Oh, here's the pound. So the pound's getting close. Not there yet, under 45. Take out this low. 44-ish. Is that about 44, Armand? Thank you, Armand. Nice look. Thank you, Armand. Great to have you back. Here's my wrap up, everybody. Still thinking we need to clean out this double bottom into the NFP. Like to see the RSI stay above 30 when this bounce is done and we terminate. I like Goldie's number of 106.40 coming up. I think the interview with Mike was great. So now we could be paying attention to 141.77. Well, we're probably going to confirm that high. 144.60 is the call for Armand, and that's still another 160 pips away. 44.60, that's a long way away. Looks like we're trying to diverge here. So I want to thank everyone for their contributions. Thank you, Armand, Izzy, Veteran, Fab, Doug, Happy, Adinda, Abel, Goldie, Claudio, welcome to LAR, Ed Z, John B, Damith, CK, welcome to LAR, Horace, Shorty, Tosin, BW, Abel, Tico, Malcolm, Abel, BW, and Carlos. There's another show coming up here in about 4 minutes. Who's up next, Adinda? Who's up next? You're welcome. You're welcome, my trading warrior brother. So Zahir, okay, Zahir Anwari is next. Zahir's a long-term position trader. He's very good. I interviewed Zahir a few years ago and introduced him to FX Street. So, good hunting, everybody. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Tomorrow's Thursday, one more day before the NFP. The waiting's the hardest part. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with me today, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. Adios.